I'm going to turn the light on now that we're live. It's not even going to be that good a light, but whatever. Yeah. Howard.
Niagara.
Howard.
2-7. All right. Good stat there, Monty.
That is interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, man. Put the W's in the chat. 7-0. 7-0. Is this John Shire? Got to be John Shire's best start in ever. Because I feel like he's lost a couple in every season early.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got to be. There's no way. He definitely has not been 7-0. It's also probably our best Ken Palm start. I mean, it's definitely our best Ken Palm start. We were not this high 7 games in last year. We've been very good.
Yeah, I was at UNC fans head yesterday. So, they didn't take the bait like I wanted them to take the bait, though.
What happened? What did you say to Carolina?
Nah, yesterday I was just trolling them after
the football game.
Love some free shots at Carolina, man. They really get emotional.
We get emotional too. We get emotional too.
We do. Can't even lie.
It's the nature of the thing, man. It's the nature of the thing.
Oh wow! Shout out to the Charlotte Hornets starting Sion, Khan, and Mason Plumlee tonight.
Good for them.
They are terrible, but hey,
getting a win. Yeah, I forgot when I texted or when I messaged the other day, and I was like, "Con All-Star?" ? I was like, I was obviously being like a little silly, but then when I was thinking about it, and I was like, I bet his stats are probably like in the East, like top 20 in the East, good individually, top 25 almost certainly, like with what he's got and how few he turns over. But then I forgot their record, and I went and looked up their record, and they only won 4 games. I was like, all right, never mind. It doesn't matter then. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and for him to even make it, he has to be like Cade, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson.
Well, he doesn't have to beat those guys. He just has to beat the last guy in. You know what I mean? He's got to he's got to be, there's going to be like some weird thing where like they're going to put somebody in who's like 17 and like a big man is like 17-8, but a good defender, and then Connell have like 19-7 and 4, and then we're like, I don't know, but they got to win games, so it doesn't really matter. But
oh man. All right, let's get
maybe one day.
Yeah, next year.
They still got to win. They still got to win games next year.
Hopefully, I mean, by next year, if they're not winning by next year, then they're just done. Like, if you're not taking no steps towards winning, nah.
When was the last time Charlotte was above an 8 seed? When was the last time they were like good? I
feel like it has to be Steven Jackson and Gerald Wallace days.
I was gonna be like
when they were the Bobcats.
Like maybe one of those Kemba teams, right? Like maybe one of them. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't take them serious. I just don't take them seriously. Sadly.
Oh man. All right, let's get it started.
The 3 of you guys, man, thank you for what you guys do, and appreciate you guys having me on.
We were trying not to score and everything. We got about 33s or something.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of felt that. We kind of feed off that energy.
This place is amazing. Like I really love Duke, and I love the atmosphere I'm in here.
Mark Williams, beast mode. Paolo first half, he had the cramping stuff. Fair enough. Beast mode.
Welcome back to the Crazy Cast. We are back. We apologize for not being here after Kansas. We were busy. Russ had movies to write. I was in the building and I couldn't get home in time, so that was not going to happen. But we're back after a couple victories. 7-0. 7-0. Great start. The greatest start in Shire era so far. So far so good. Can't complain. Here with my guy Russ as always. Russ, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We got, family coming to town, so, the second off this, it's time to clean. It's time to clean. Got to have everything nice and clean for, family comes around.
Facts.
So, that's what's going on here. So I'm just enjoying a beer, enjoyed a game that was fun, albeit kind of pointless. And I feel like this is my like hot take that I'm gonna get it off my chest right away, and then we're gonna talk about nothing but positive things probably for the rest of the episode. I think I talked about this before the season too. I don't like these things where we're playing these sub 300 teams, man. We don't learn anything. Like, we don't learn anything at all. Like, now are they a lot of fun? Yes. Are they a lot of fun to watch? 100%. They're tremendous fun to sit and watch. They're stress-free. That part of it is great. So don't get me wrong. I get it. And maybe we need a couple of stress-free games in a season. I get it. But, like, we've now played 3 teams that are sub 100. We've obviously beat the pants off all 3 of them. And we just don't learn anything. Like, I think that we could play a team that's more like even a Lipscomb, right? Like, Lipscomb's like 216. Or, we're going to be favored over them by like almost 30 points probably. But, like, Lipscomb went to the tournament last year, I think, if I remember, or the year before. So, like, they're not – they got, like, some history there. They're not – bad, but like playing bad teams, even when they have Brotherhood connection, it's nothing but kind of like a lark. It's just sort of fun. Meanwhile, next week, outside of the one game, we're going to launch all these players era and all these other things in which these teams are going to get like 3 quad 1 bam, bam, bam opportunities. And like, they're going to know who their teams are very, very clearly by Wednesday or Thursday. And we'll know by next week. We'll know by the end of the following week, right, where we got a ridiculous lineup of 3 games in a row then. So maybe I'm just being annoying because we've got a beastly schedule. I just wish that like these were games in which we were favored by 20 in the 20s and not 43. Like we're just never going to learn anything in these games. But shout out to Greg Pauls and Kenny Blakeney. I'm glad that, hopefully Howard wins the MEAC. That'd be awesome.
Are we really shouting out to Greg Paulus, though? All right, never mind. Never mind. We're not going to go there.
You know what? He came to Duke and he played 4 years and was scandal-free and said some very nice things
Look at you
about Duke.
Political.
He said some very nice things about Duke. He had a great freshman season. He's a good shooter, definitely a good shooter. There's no question he's a good shooter. But yeah, man. But his team stinks. Unfortunately, like it just again that is what it is.
But yeah. You already kind of covered it, but I just think our schedule is already loaded enough that we could throw in a couple cupcakes here and there, and if they feel the sentiment of honoring, former Duke players, okay, that's cool. Do I enjoy these games?
Then throw in Bobby. Then throw in Bobby. He's only got one more year left anyway. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Wasn't that an exhibition?
It was an exhibition, but that's probably what Bobby
didn't want to come back. He said, I'm good.
You see what
good.
They said,
or like Northwestern. You know what I mean? Like people are saying this is the toughest non-conference schedule they've had in years. Sure, maybe, but like at this point in the season, it's more that like I'm interested in learning like what the team is, and for better or for worse, we got Kansas without Darren Peterson, and we got Texas.
That's not our fault.
Not our fault, but that's also why you try to like not have total, layup line games like we had today. Like even a team like Lipscomb should be a bit more challenging, right? Like I don't know. I'm not saying that we need to schedule nothing but top 50 teams. Like I'm not saying that. This is still a beast schedule. But I think there's a big difference between playing a team in the high 200s, like low hundreds, like 180 to like 230 range, versus playing a team like Niagara, like Army, I get it's got the Coach K connection. It was Veterans Day. I like that. That's fine. It was on the road. Great. Fine. But like Niagara, even with Greg there, man, like we all knew that was going to be a bottom 30 team in the country this year. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I also feel like you can't really win it, especially when it gets to those levels of low 200s, even into the 300s. I mean, you really don't know if they're that value yet, especially so early in the season. Like that could all change, like by March.
They won't. They won't. That won't change. That won't
even
change.
from but from
dude, you can.
But from a scheduling standpoint, like you can't really say 290.
No, I disagree. I disagree. When it comes to teams, generally, most teams fall within a range of expected outcomes, and people knew coming into this year what the deal was going to be with Niagara, man. Like they did. I'm sorry. When you're playing Howard, what's the best Howard team in the last 15 years? I want to look it up and figure it out.
I came from a school at Lehigh that was in the 300s, and we went on the road and beat Mississippi State. Like when I was in school. So like it's
Mississippi State though, dude. It's different.
It's still SEC school, brother. It's still SEC school. And we beat them by like 15.
I'm just saying that as of right now in the year, including the Texas and Kansas game, and nobody wants to hear it because the schedule's about to get way, way harder. That's a given. That's granted. So far, including today's game, our non-conference strength of schedule within these 7 games, 278th. It's going to get a lot harder. It will, but we're only at 278th over 7 games. Like I want like a more exciting, and that includes. This is not including like Kansas without Darren Peterson and adjusting for that. This is like if Kansas played full strength. You know what I mean? Like and we played them not full strength, so it's probably even less than 278. I just want to learn more. They're such a good team. They're such a fun team. I'm really, really excited. We're going to learn more soon, but I'm impatient. Yes. I'm impatient, and I need it, and I don't. And some of the teams we got coming up, which we'll talk about towards the end, but like I'm maybe not as high on a couple of the I don't know if some of these teams that we expected to be really, really good are as good right now, as maybe we would have expected. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll find out.
We'll definitely find out. But I mean, like
everyone's so mad at me right now, by the way, because we're beating the pants off every single team. And we're again, I wanted to lead out with this because we're gonna say nothing but nice things for the rest of the episode. And I wanted to get it off my chest. We're a phenomenal team. This is nitpicking, but going forward with scheduling, I want to see an MTE against teams that are not sub 300s, man. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. But like you said yourself, stop being so impatient. We'll know in a week. Regardless of if those teams, I know I'm not high on most of those teams either. There's still challenges, and there's still going to be most likely all tournament teams. Well, they will all be.
And a lot of best teams that have good teams coming up too have bad non-conference strength of schedules right now too. It's not just us. Yeah. I understand that. But this week is going to change for a lot of these better teams. Your Houstons and your Iowa States and them. They're going to get 3 quad 1 games, bam, 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 within the span of 3 days. So I mean,
so I guess while we're on the topic, before we jump into the weekend and today's recap of today's game, Monty asked a good question: should Duke be in the Players Era every year?
I mean, here's what I think about the Players Era. I think that the structure of it right now sucks, and they have to change it. I think they have to change it because scheduling 2 games randomly and then going off of I think it's like the top 4 teams that are undefeated and then going by win margin capped at 20. But then certain teams are going to play UNLV and Seton Hall, and other teams are going to play Alabama and you know what I mean? There's
I don't even know the rules. What are you talking about? What are you talking about margin?
So there are 2 scheduled games, okay, on Monday and Tuesday for Players Era. And in order to figure out who's going to be in the championship or whatever, right? I don't even think it's 4. I think it's 2 games. 2 teams, whichever 2 teams are in the championship is going to be the teams that are undefeated and have the highest margin of victory. right? Because there's going to be more than 2 teams that are undefeated in the first 2 games. There's going to be like 4 or 5. I mean, like it's going to. There are a couple of teams that are really, really good, and some teams that are really not as good, right? So it's going to be hard. So like I think Gonzaga plays Alabama. I think that's one of them. So one of those teams is going to lose. There's a chance Gonzaga and Alabama might be the 2 best teams in there, but then one of them will not be in the championship, right? Like they're going to have to go play some other team. If a team like Alabama, now they don't. Alabama, I think, plays Gonzaga. I'd have to double check this, but like if some team plays 2 duds and Gonzaga and Alabama have to play each other, then that's such a huge leg up for that other team, right? Like make it a bracket, just like make it a bracket.
Yeah.
Brackets are uneven sometimes too, but at least then it's not like this weird thing where if you're undefeated and your margin of victory is huge, like I think that's silly, right? I kind of think that's a silly way of doing things. And they're going to expand it in the future. So to Monty's point, if they're expanding it to 32 teams, which I think is what they've said they're going to do, yeah, man, I don't know how you're going to do it then, but like you've got to find a way to incentivize winning all the way through and not make it this weird thing where like if Gonzaga plays, I want to see who they play in the first game. They're going to play they play Alabama and Maryland. If I'm Gonzaga and I beat Alabama, I'm going to try to beat Maryland by as many points as I humanly can, especially given they won't have Pharrell Payne and whatever else. So like just rack up the points, you know what I mean? Whereas like, you know, I don't know who Alabama plays. Oh, Alabama plays UNLV. So same thing, right? They're going to play one really good team and then a team that's doo-doo. And then like, so what's going to happen is if some other team is 2-0 and Alabama's 1-1 and they beat UNLV by 100 but didn't beat Gonzaga, then they're not in the championship. And that's ridiculous in my opinion. So, you know.
Well, I personally
What do
hate
I know?
the players' error just because of the back-to-backs. I hate back-to-back day tournaments. I'm not gonna lie. It's because it's not
Dan Hurley over here.
It's not realistic of what you'll do in March, and then the fact that it's a back-to-back versus team you don't know versus like the ACC tournament is like a team you're familiar with. I hate that, and don't give me that.
I think kind of fun, but you could space it out. I don't know, man, but like. It doesn't even need to be players era. Like, go to Maui, go to Battle for Atlantis. Those aren't great fields this year either, but they're better fields than the Brotherhood MTE. I mean, like they just are, or anything that we would put together like that. Is there a way to do a Brotherhood MTE that has like Northwestern and Arizona State and like whatever? Sure, maybe. Like, there's something interesting there, and then you could still include Niagara and Howard, right? And then you could. Still have that great sort of kismet of like, oh, all of the Brotherhood people in one room, right? You could still have that. I think there's a way of doing it without just like making it goofy. I don't know, but maybe, but I don't know the scheduling stuff. I guess I'm wrong, but like, I just don't want to see us play these teams in the 300s that much, man. Outside of like Army at Veterans Day, I get that. I like that, but you know, or play them on the road. Play them on the road. Give Duke a little But there's no benefit to playing on the road unless it's Army and Veterans Day. I don't know. It's tough, man. It's a tough thing. I just feel bad. I feel bad.
And scene. Enough of Russ's negativity.
Go back to that shot chart. I wanted to see that.
Go back.
Did we take a? I don't think. Wait, which one is us? Please tell me.
Right.
We didn't take a single mid-range all game. Look at that sexy shot chart.
That is actually very like John Shire. Like, I think
I know.
Like that's his MO. Like, no mid-range jump shots. I think
I know, but
broke
like
some of it last year. And
Coop obviously was very good at mid-ranges, but like, you know, like this is unreal. Like even in our first few games, we had some floaters in the paint. We had like some a slim sort of dribble in, pull up, maybe once or twice. I don't know that I've seen one with zero mid-range. That's really cool.
Cam Boozer took his first mid-range shot on Friday. And he actually does it. I mean, in high school, he took a lot of mid-range shots. So, this is definitely a Shire strategy. Layups or threes, nothing else. So, it'll be interesting to see how this changes throughout the year. Because I don't think the mid range is invaluable. I think it's valuable, especially in games where possessions are valued every single
Yeah.
possession. But we'll see. We'll see. He could do it against Howard because, like Russ said, it's a 300 team. Maybe that's something he's trying out against a 300 team.
Well, you know what he was trying out? He was trying out that Dame at the 4, Hamania at the 5 lineup. That's what he was trying out against Howard. Yeah, man. There's look, very fun game to watch. I don't think we learned anything in this game other than a guy could get 3 fouls in 4 seconds, which I don't think I've ever seen before. That was unreal. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then they got Duke back on the other end because they were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have given a guy 3 fouls in 4 seconds. So then they got Duke back and called like 5 fouls on the next possession for Duke or whatever. It was ridiculous. Stupid refs. Anyway, yeah, I don't think we learned anything, but super fun. I mean, like, God, what can you say about Cam Boozer? He was like, just in the first half, I forget what his first half stats were, but it was like 14, 6, and 3, something like this. And in the first half, look, these guys try. These guys try really hard. It's why they end up getting the Duke. It's why they win at every single level. But it just looks like he's not trying in the first half, and he's just coasting to a very casual 14, 6, and 3, right? Just making it look as easy as one humanly can. While still being exceptionally productive. I loved the Caden Boozer 6 assists, no turnovers. I think that's great. I know Slim missed some threes, but I thought he had a really nice overall game. We were talking before the podcast, like any lineups with Slim in it. I think there was one lineup where Duke was -1, and then every other lineup when Slim was in the game, Duke was rolling. Cam and Slim led plus minus by a lot tonight. Pat has looked good in this MTE, but again, he's playing 2 teams in the 300s. If he didn't look good, that'd be more alarming, frankly.
No, but I won't fully discredit it because I think he's asserted himself now a little bit more. I think Shire's getting the ball into him a little bit more, and Pat is gonna. I
agree with that.
He's gonna have mismatches, and I think it's important for him to know that if he has a mismatch, he's gonna get a bucket.
Sure. Well, let me put it another way. If he struggles against Arkansas, which not even saying Florida. Florida's got one of the biggest teams in the country, right? But if he struggles against Arkansas, is like seeing him go beast mode against 2 teams in the 300s that are woefully undersized. I mean, is it gonna? How are we gonna feel about that? You know what I mean? I feel like then people are just gonna focus on, again, a small sample, but a sample against a team that's like the sort of teams that we're going to see in the ACC and in the NCAA tournament. I just want to continue to see Pat. I think Pat's played very, very well this year. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Pat's played exceptionally well, but I'm not trying to discredit. I'm just saying that yeah, he's playing against guys who are 6'5" or whatever. Pat should be getting fouled a lot like he did against Niagara, and he should be scoring 16 points in 17 minutes like he did tonight. He's a very good passer also, which I love. They did talk about Cam and Pat's passing on the play-by-play tonight, which I thought was good, was important. We're getting 6 assists a game generally from Cam and Pat. That's it's unbelievable. Most teams don't have that. So that's, top of the line. But I think we know who Pat is at this point. I think we know who all these guys are, even before Niagara and Howard. Maybe the Caden Cam stuff or the Caden Caleb stuff people can continue to talk about. But again, I don't know that I learned a lot from Niagara and Howard about, either of them other than just they make a good shot. I thought Caleb made some nice drives. Caleb made at least one really nice pass. He didn't hit his knockdown threes, but he did against Niagara. So again, I'm kind of left at I don't know, sure.
Yeah, but Caleb passed, because I did say that in the preseason show. At least Caleb is a very good catch and shoot shooter. He has been like for even the first 2 years of his career. I think he's
He
kind of
wasn't. He
showing.
wasn't. I don't think he was last year, but he was in his first year.
But I think we'd have to check the numbers on that. Overall, though, last year his shooting numbers were down, but I think his catch and shoot might have still been there. But I think for him, I think he's getting comfortable a little bit, in that off-ball role while also being, somewhat of a primary playmaker at points. I think he's learning to balance the two. So I think the Cade and Caleb lineups are probably going to be more consistent throughout the season. I know people try to pit them against each other consistently, but I think it's going to be a situation where I think Shire sees them playing more together than one in and one out.
We talked about that preseason as well. We talked
you
about
actually
the fact
you actually might have said that putting that in the lineup, starting lineup.
Yeah, I said preseason. I thought that the starting five. I didn't know that Dame would be like, all defense level defender right away. I knew he had the potential for that, but like I didn't know. Again, even those potential guys don't always have it literally day one the way that Dame has. I just assumed it would be Caden, Caleb, Slim, Cam, Pat to start the year. But Dame today notwithstanding, Dame shot the ball really well too, which helps tremendously. I mean, even with today's numbers, I mean, I bet he's still like in the high 30s for his 3-point percentage. I'd have to look, but he's a better shooter, especially those corner threes. I feel like he literally never misses them. So, Dame is at he's at 40% for the season.
Yeah, 10 for 25.
I mean, that's great. That's awesome. So
Caleb is at 40 something. Cam is probably slightly under 40. Isaiah is actually the surprise. I think after today he is 16.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it right here. Yeah, so Caleb's at about a little under 46%. He is at a little under 44%. So he's really starting to knock him down. Dame at 40%, Darren at 40%. Although some of that was that explosion against Army in the last bit. Caden at 38.5% on small sample. Cam Boozer at 37% from three. Slim, obviously the largest sample. He's at like maybe a hair shy of 36%. But he's also our best free throw shooter by a pretty wide margin. And I think most importantly, I pointed this out the other day. He took last year 34 twos over the course of the entire season, and he's already taken 21 twos in 7 games. Which means he's on pace for something over 100. He's clearly still a 3-pointer first guy, but he is also getting to the line. Last year he took 32 free throws total in the year. He's already taken 21 this year. I mean, his free throw rate is way, way higher than it was. Fouls drawn way higher. His assist rate is more than double than it was last year. His turnover rate is down. So, I mean, like, he's playing incredibly well this year. Yeah. So, yes, the 3-point shooting is down a little, but also it couldn't go up from last year. You can't shoot better than that.
And I mean,
that's going to happen.
And to your point of the assists, like, he's definitely matured a lot in his decision making. The lobs in itself, I don't know how many lobs we've seen him throw this year, connecting with Pat. And it's timely, it's on point. I think we saw a lot of games last year where Slim would have 15 points and 0 assists. I think he's grown and matured now, and obviously he's playing a bigger role where he's dishing and he's making the right play. Overall, I mean, you can't really complain with what you've seen from him, aside from some, I guess, games with some shooting woes, which is expected for a guy like him. I think you got to be impressed at least off the bat. Scoring numbers totals probably we'll see if he hits the over under of our preseason over under. It's definitely going to be more competitive than we thought.
Well, also look at his line from today, right? He shot 1 for 5 from 3, but still shot 50% on the day, right? Because he went 3 for 3 inside. Granted, at least one of those was in transition, but 2 of them weren't. I mean, like, he's getting to the rim. I mean, like I said this summer that I knew he was working on getting inside more. I thought that was going to be more him looking to score. I honestly didn't anticipate him getting as many assists so far this season as he's had. I thought he was going to kind of be like a 1 assist a game kind of dude, you know? So yeah, I'm really, really impressed with Slim, and I still think he's our best shooter. You know, they're not falling consistently because he's such a rhythm guy, but like, you know, when he's out there, you cannot leave him alone. Frankly, I've made the joke a couple times. You might want to leave him alone, given that like he is a much better shooter. I think when there's like 2 guys in his face than when he's open. You know, like he just there's a rhythm. I have found. Let me compare myself self-aggrandizingly to Isaiah Evans, where I found like, you know, look, if you give me too much time to sit and think about my 3-point shot, it's kind of more likely that I miss. Whereas if somebody's running right at me and I want to launch it, like, it's pure muscle memory at that point. You're not thinking. Your brain does not play a part, like, in the slightest. And there might be something to that. There are some players who, like, the faster they throw it up, the better it gets. I mean, like, you know,
Russ, you're missing either way, dog. Yeah, you're missing either way.
Steph Curry, Isaiah Evans, Russell, the great three, the big three.
Oh man, I definitely have to at least call out because I tweeted during the game. I know this team is probably going to struggle with rim protection during the season. I mean, we saw it against Kansas. We didn't even talk about Kansas as well. But yeah, we saw it against Kansas, especially with Flory whenever he caught the ball under the rim. But where they do, I think, exceed last year's team is getting into the passing lanes. I think we've touched on this before, but this team is very active. They know how to use their length. Obviously, a lot of that is, you know, guys like Dame, Malik, but also Nick. Cam is in there as well. Cam is at least has the IQ, may not have the length, but has the IQ to jump the passing lane. I think, you know, we will see that a little bit as an upgrade from last year's, you know, but obviously we don't have Kaman Maliwatch protecting rim, altering shots. You know, don't even have a Cooper Flag roving around the court, you know, helping weak side and sending blocks as well. So, you know, I'm excited. I'm still excited to see the defensive potential of this team, but, you know, the rim protection was still a question for sure.
Yeah. Again, I mean, this is a great opportunity to once again be like, hey, the more guys that we can play of a certain caliber inside, the more reps Pat will get. I mean, like, one of the things that kind of goes unspoken about, like, what were Pat's meaningful reps last year? I mean, in games that like mattered.
ACC tournament.
But they're exceedingly limited over the course of the season, is my point, right? Like, sure. I'd have to sit and look at how many possessions he played in meaningful moments, and it was very, very few. Not because he wasn't ready, but just because we had a ridiculous, you know, a defensive player of the year type, and then we also had a, you know, top 10 pick or whatever, you know, a freak inside. It was great. So he's still so he plays young sometimes. I'll put it that way. He plays young. And I thought that watching him play against Flory, now Flory is not like, you know, a senior or anything, but he obviously played heavy reps last year, you know, was counted upon, you know, in many ways, and is going to be counted upon even more this year. I just felt like I was watching a guy who had played more versus a guy that has played less in that Kansas game, you know, where, like, Flory just knew where to be a little more. It helps that he's a freak athlete, and Pat, while he's a good athlete, he's not a freak like Flory is. So, like, fair enough. But like Flory just kind of like I saw the experience on the floor. I felt like, and so we need Pat to have more experience in moments like that in order to have his rim protection be all that it can be against sort of the best guys that we're going to play against. We're going to play against a lot of guys inside who are going to be very, very good. Arkansas has obviously got big men. Michigan State, incredibly physical. Florida brings back a title-winning, triumvirate of, big men. There's JT Toppin, obviously, it likes to do a lot of his work on the interior. Vasar and Caleb Wilson have both looked, quite good for UNC. There's a lot of guys. Darian Williams likes to do a lot of his work on the inside. I know Cam will probably defend him more than Pat, but like in terms of rim protection, I don't know. We're gonna see a lot of these guys, so I'll be interested to see how Pat responds going forward. But I do think at times this year he's looked a little young.
Especially fouling. Fouling has been
especially fouling. The fouling far from the basket. I think occasionally he's out of position on rebounds. Gets the thing that like Malawach had, and I pulled up Kansas's shooting numbers, from the game because I think it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that Malawach had where people I think sleep on him sometimes, like I know he didn't have like a great final game, and so people just will remember that and then forget everything else. But like he had the thing where even when he wasn't blocking shots, he was discouraging shots by being big and by knowing where to be and everything else. Like against Kansas, they took 20 shots inside, scored on 70% of them. That's obviously very high. I mean, again, a number of them were just dunks from Flory. That's a 100% shot. If you can let him dunk, then he's going to make that 100% of the time. Fair enough. Right. They also shot almost 55% on 6 of 11 shots, in the painted area, not at the rim. And I feel like without having looked it up first, I don't think teams shot very well in that painted area against Duke when Malawach was out there, because he discouraged, you'd have to step out to a mid-range or kick it back out. So I don't know. I think it's a valid concern. I'm not too concerned in the grand scheme necessarily, but like it's something I'm keeping my eye on. I know a lot of the analytics really love Pat, but I do think that Pat still has, as I'm sure he would agree, some things to continue to work on in terms of experience and everything else in order to maximize what Duke can be by March.
No, for sure. And guarding his space has been a lot of those issues as well, and kind of at times can negate a rim protector if you only have one on the floor. So I think that's also going to be if John wants to switch up things to like more drop coverage and things of that sort to maybe even put him in a better position to protect the rim. But that will all come with time, obviously.
He's done a pretty good job blitzing on those pick and rolls too. I mean, like I think he covers ground pretty well. I don't think he's a switch guy, but I don't know that he needs to necessarily like go under all the time either. Like I think he can do the very Coach K blitz the pick and roll and then recover. I think he can do okay there and has done okay there. But it does just require getting up and down a lot, running a lot. I've been pretty impressed with how he's run, given that I sort of assumed that he would sort of benefit from a slower pace on offense, and Duke has been anything but slow on offense.
Yeah.
And he still played quite well. So I'm pleased with that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does once we get in those games against guys who are his size and or guys who are stronger than him. How he continues to produce on both ends of the floor, but especially on defense.
Yeah, and I think we got a glimpse of it with Tennessee. I don't want to put full stock in that because that's an exhibition game, but I think that was a game that maybe suited him a little bit more. but at the same time too, it's early. So, like you said, it's going to be a lot of reps, getting more reps in. And, by the time, we hit January, February, I think we'll see like his peak ability. And I think, a lot of people may be surprised at how athletic he is. Obviously, he's not the fastest person, doesn't jump high off the ground, but he can be quick. He has good feet on him. And I think that's gonna be shown a little bit more as he gets more comfortable, especially when they play like today, where Shire just said we gonna bully them boys in the paint, like straight bully ball with Cam and Pat the whole game, And there will be opportunities like that because there are some ACC teams that are still very small.
Who do you think? This is something I was thinking about the other day. Because this is. Who would you say are the second and third most athletic players on this Duke team?
Second and third most.
Because number one's Dame. Number one is very, very obviously Dame.
Number one is Dame.
Who are the top three?
That's a tough one. Right? That's tough,
right?
Honestly, it's not. Isaiah might be in there.
Isaiah might be number two. Isaiah might be number two. And I know nobody, maybe people don't want to hear, but I was gonna say there's a chance that somebody like Caleb is right there.
I was thinking Caleb. Yeah,
Caleb has the second best first step on the team. I would say that. I think in terms of getting that very first step, we saw that very clearly in the Kansas game where Melvin Council, when Caden was on him one-on-one, Council was just waltzing around him. Caden is a good defender, but he does not have the first step that somebody with tremendous first step speed like Melvin Council has. So Council was just kind of going do and just going right around him to the rim, and that was that. And then they put Caleb in. And Caleb has the lateral quickness and the sort of the quick twitch to when Council was trying to just do the same thing that he was doing to Caden. Caleb was able to get in front of him pretty quickly. And Council's a very fast dude. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to be flip about anything, but I think there's a chance that it's Caleb. My point being that this is not one of these Duke teams with freak athletes, down the line. And even last year, somebody like Khan, who's not a freak athlete, had tremendous strength positionally, and I don't even know, Cam obviously has positional strength, but not everybody has elite level positional strength on this team either. So that means that you kind of have to just be smarter and you have to be more skilled. And this team has skill for days. That's kind of how it'll be done, right? But I think there's this perception that Duke is always Duke because they just get all the best draft picks and that's that. But yeah, on one hand, true, but on the other hand, this team is not riddled with Mark Mitchell would be the second best athlete on this team pretty easily. Oh,
that's a name.
Right? But you know what I mean? Guys from past teams that John has had, and certainly inside, nobody here is matching Malawak or Lively or you know what I mean? So it's a different type of team, and it'll be interesting to see how we continue to sculpt that going into ACC play, where in certain positional matchups, we might not necessarily have an athleticism advantage. Skill advantage, yes. Coaching advantage, yes. Athleticism advantage, maybe not at every position.
Yeah. I might say Malik for that third spot.
Maybe.
I might say
maybe he just plays slow, so we don't see it that much. You know what I mean? But there's a chance. But functionally, in terms of what we see on the floor, I kind of think Slim's number two.
Yeah, he might be.
And then from there, whatever anybody wants to say, one could argue for the third spot. But
yeah, definitely not one of our most athletic teams. Honestly, though, we're probably still more athletic than that first John Shire team, and maybe the second team too. Those were the least athletic.
Well, you know what I would say though is those teams did have maybe like a top 3 that would be more athletic than this top 3. You know, like I don't think that like dude. I mean, like we're looking at like Derek Lively, Mark Mitchell, Tyrese Proctor on that.
Okay. Derek Lively and the Mark Mitchell.
That's
Tyrese.
That's a
freshman.
tough one
Tyrese wasn't an athlete. And then
there was Derek, but like Derek is not. He was still hurt and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, like
his athleticism is absolutely cooked. Love Derek though.
Yeah. The reason why that team seems so unathletic is because we were playing Ryan Young a lot.
I didn't want to say it, but you said it.
No, Ryan Young was very effective that season. It's just that Ryan Young is definitely ground bound. He'd be the first one to say that, right? Like
negative athlete.
Negative athlete. But he scored a lot of points for a guy who's a negative athlete, man. I mean, like
I would take a Ryan Young on this team. I'm not gonna lie, as a third big. Just as an emergency.
Oh yeah,
bid? Sure. Give me that.
Shit. What about Jalen Blakes? Maybe.
Jalen Blakes. Oh man.
Hey, super legend, man. I mean, like, shit, Duke legend. I love me some Jalen Blakes. You know this.
Yeah, a heck of a 5th year, man. Shout out to J Blakes. Yeah. So going forward, we got. Should we go to Arkansas or should we go to caller first?
Before we go to caller, I do want to point out, like, in looking at Ken Pom through 7 games, we're number 1 in college through 7 games, which I think is really cool. Some interesting stuff to look at. In terms of possession length on offense, we are the 11th fastest team in the country on offense. And then on defense, we are holding teams to the 361st fastest, offense with our defense, right? Like we are making teams play at a bottom 5 tempo on offense while we're playing top 11 tempo on offense. That is a ridiculous stat. And again, a lot of that has to do with who we're playing, granted. But like that's still an incredible stat. Again, and there are similar disparities down the line, right? Our turnover rate is when we're on offense top 50. Our defensive turnovers forced rate top 75, very, very good there. Our offensive rebounding rate top 35. Our defensive rebounding rate a little under top 60. Our free throw attempt rate top 75. Allowing free throw attempts top 25 on defense. 2-point percent. We have the 2nd best 2-point percentage. We have the 7th best 2-point percentage defense. We're doing very, 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 very well. Very, very well across the board. Some of that has to do with opponent. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with opponent. But, man, I bring all of that up to say you couldn't ask for a better first 7 games. And the final number that I think is really important to bring up, we are 51st in the country in bench minutes, which, again, I don't think Duke fans are accustomed to that. So that's
rotation is 9 to me. I think the rotation gonna be 9. The only way
in big games, I think it's probably 8. But
we'll see. We'll see. We got 3. We got 4 of the next 5.
We will find out. We will find out very soon. We will find out very soon.
Well, I think Darren may be the guy that maybe gets the worst end of it. I still think he'll be thrown into the game. But we'll see. We'll see what we got. We got a couple of tests to
for sure. Let's get this caller.
Actually, we have 2 callers.
Okay. Oh God.
Hold on.
I'm gonna try not to tell people to log off today. Shout out to Bennett.
Shout out to Bennett, our first ever caller.
He took that in stride. Good for him.
Yeah, man. We love everybody that listens. We love everybody.
I love most people that listen.
Oh wow. Who don't you like, Russ? You got any specific names?
Bruce Wayne.
Good one. That's a good one. You could get by with that one.
Yeah.
So Just to remind everybody.
I'm not a I love my haters guy. I don't like my haters.
I do love my haters.
I know you do.
I got some
I know
haters
you do.
in the Trivia Discord too. But
You bathe around in the hate like a pig in slop, baby.
Hate is
All right,
fun, man. But yeah,
let's hear it. I'm
as
too soft for that. Let's hear it.
as to remind y'all, call in speakpipe.com/crazycast if you want to leave a message. We will respond on the podcast if it's not wild, and good enough to, start a conversation. So we have a couple callers. Hold on, let me load this in. The first caller is Brandon McStay. I've seen your name on Twitter.
Yeah, this is a listener for sure.
Yeah. Shout out to you, man. He sent this call in a couple days ago.
All right, let's hear it.
Hey guys, really like the show.
Let me restart that.
Hey guys, really like the show. I was curious. We haven't seen too many lineups with Isaiah Evans or Darren Harris together on the floor. I wonder what you guys think of both of them, on the floor together on the offensive end, because both of them are like microwave ovens. All it takes is one shot, and both of them get hot. Like a 2-point lead can turn to a 20-point lead within 1 minute. I was kind of curious what you guys think about that lineup, because we haven't seen it that much this year.
You want to take?
I'm gonna look up some numbers while you talk first.
I was trying to load in the dang freaking next caller, but okay, I will take that. I mean, in terms of Isaiah and Darren lineup, I think that's probably going to be dependent on Shire's willingness to lose some defense for the most part, because, obviously with those two guys, you have to play a point guard, and then, you're caught with, two guys who probably aren't your best defenders. Although Isaiah has improved. He's improved as a defender, and he's very competitive. Darren still has a little bit of ways to go. But it is interesting, though. I don't think this is the team that we won't see the lineup, because you still have, Cam Boozer with that and his passing ability. So, I don't think it's a lineup we won't see. I just don't think, there are going to be many moments where, Shire won't have Hamenia and Sarr. I feel like those are probably two of our most competitive wing defenders with Isaiah off the floor. But I mean, I don't know. Could be a lineup we see. What do you think?
Yeah.
You got your numbers?
Yeah, I got my numbers. Okay, so we've only played 26 minutes with Evans and Harris on the floor together. Okay, so not much. So small sample size, grain of salt. Okay, I'm looking at defensive rating. Okay, the number of points allowed a team per 100 possessions, by us. Okay, when Evans is on the floor and Harris is off the floor, 82.4. That's 98th percentile in the country, right? That's really good. Again, low is better on defensive rating. Okay, Evans on, Harris off, 82.4. Harris on, Evans off, 91.7. Right, which makes sense. Harris is not as good a defender as Evans. Both Harris and Evans on, 98.1. Right, again, very small sample, aggressively small sample. I think the defense is going to make it so that this is not happening very much. That would guess.
Yeah, and I don't know. There are going to be times where Darren Harris may have a hot end, and you may just throw him in with Isaiah.
Sure,
but
hot hand policy for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a common lineup for us, but I don't think it may be a necessity, really. I mean, I think with the options we have and the different lineups you can play, sometimes, we're going to, play bigger. Sometimes we're going to play smaller. And we have a lot of guys to play at that 3 position, that three guard position, 4 position, whatever you want to call it, whether it's Hamenia, whether it's Darren, whether it's Sarr, whether it's Caleb, Caden, and Isaiah playing that position. Like, there's just so many different lineup variations that probably the best one is gonna win out, and I don't think the best one is going to be a Darren and Isaiah combination.
It would take. I'll tell you what it would take. It would take Pat becoming like an elite rim protector inside, right? So that then that way guys like Slim and Darren who want to be aggressive, on the outside, if somebody gets past, if Pat can just like say, hey, nobody's ever scoring in here and that's that, then maybe it's fine. But like until that's the case, I just think it's going to be more of a net negative than it would be a net positive compared to other lineup combinations that we could use, unless Darren is completely like smoking hot on in a given game, right?
Yeah.
Like, which could happen. He definitely has that potential, but
No,
we'll
for sure.
Good question, Brandon.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Brandon. Second caller of all time. Now we have our third caller. Shout out to Derek. This is Derek. Don't know your handle. You didn't add it. So there's a lot of Dereks that follow us. So I don't know which Derek it is. But he has a question on Dame Sarr.
Okay.
Hey, Crazy Crass. This is Derek. Big fan of the show. I just want to come on and ask. I had one question about Dame Sarr. Great defender, big connector for us, obviously. But, as the season goes on, you think it's a question mark for us to worry about how his offense is kind of only really 3 and, can get downhill at times. Is that going to be a concern for us? Obviously, he's going to start and play, but do you have Caden, like in the Kansas game, come in and close the game for us? Because obviously he's not offensively there yet and has, shown flashes of it. And obviously the defense is there. But, like, what are you guys' thoughts on how he'll progress offensively throughout the season?
Yeah. You want to take that, Russ, or me first?
Yeah. No, I can take this. I mean, look, I think that Dame has a lot there. First of all, the athleticism, you can't teach that. You just can't. Second of all, his 2-point percentage when he does get inside, his 2-point percentage is better than either Caleb or Caden's, right? Like, he does pretty well. He has taken fewer of them. He's picking his spots. He's taking more threes. Again, picking his spots. But, and also, frankly, his turnover rate is better than either Caden or Caleb's also, right? So I think he's a real value on offense, given that he's shooting 40% from 3, again, on very open ones, but it counts. He can blow past people with the ball in his hands. It doesn't always work out. Again, he's still sort of getting used to the spacing of the college game. It's different than what he's accustomed to overseas. But as he gets more accustomed to that, I think he has the potential to be a really strong finisher. He definitely nails those open threes. He generally, tonight notwithstanding, obviously had a couple of like goofy turnovers when we were already up 40. I think he was just sort of like trying to do some things, right? We're up 40, so who cares? Might as well give it a go. Same for Nick in that respect. I'm not too concerned about him with the ball in his hands at the end of the day. He gets a little fast sometimes, but, it's what it is. Again, I guess it's worth noting as somebody could fire back. Well, of course, his 2-point percentage is higher because think about the baskets that he's generating that are 2s that are dunks in transition based on the steals that he gets. Very fair. Caleb and Caden probably have better 2-point percentage shooting in half-court possessions. Totally a reasonable thing to suggest. I don't have those numbers in front of me. Caleb and Caden obviously better passers right now than Dame is. I just think that the best version of this lineup includes some some athleticism on both ends. Obviously, we just talked about that some. I do think. What was the game where Dame and Slim? Was it the Kansas one where we really broke it open with that lineup, or was it the Texas one where we really broke it open? I'd have to check.
But you also might be thinking of Tennessee.
Maybe. I just think he has some game break potential on both ends. In a way that like this team is going to be very steady. It's going to be very skilled. I think our team effort collectively is going to break open games, but in terms of guys who single-handedly can really make some things happen out there in sort of electric and exciting and like demoralizing to the opponent ways, like I think he's one of the top 2 or 3 guys on the roster at that. And so I think I want to keep him on the floor whenever possible. For that reason, I think our highest upside includes having Dame really deliver.
Yeah.
So we should play him as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think even I know you mentioned the Kansas game, Derek. The Kansas game, I think Shire just needed more ball handling on the floor at the end of the game to handle Kansas pressure. And Dame is not probably there as a ball handler. And then obviously he's not better than Caden or Caleb. So, I think that was very important as well. So, it's going to be a lot of.
I think also important to note, right, that when we were losing in that game by we were down 24-18, something like that, right? And then that run that we went on where it went from 24-18 to 35-30, before the end of the half or whatever, that all happened with Dame on the floor, right? Like with only one ball, with Caleb as well, right? So like, I don't know, man. He brings a lot to the table.
It's definitely early too. Like the guy is fresh to college basketball. You can kind of see it now. Sometimes he runs. I guess the saying is run faster. He runs faster than he's moving. I think there are points, especially like finishing at the rim, where I know I've seen him play. And even whether it's a Nike Hoop Summit or watching him at Barcelona, that he's capable of finishing at the rim. But he's shown early struggles in that sometimes also as well, playing through contact, playing through the foul. I think that will come with time, just more reps, kind of like we've been saying with Pat. And, I think by February, his demeanor and mentality is changing to that. But honestly, if he's just a slasher that gets fouled, and he hits his open threes and he defends, there's so much value to a 3D guy, especially on this team. Like that alone should warrant him be on the floor a lot. Hitting catch and shoot threes, defending, getting in buckets in transition at a high level. There is a role for that on this team, and if that's going to be his role, he can thrive in that role. So I don't think that's hindering his playing time either.
Yeah, I will say that Dame, maybe didn't give us his best version in the Tennessee game, just looking at it, because it wasn't like literally his first game, if I recall correctly. So I'm not going to read too far into that, but like when you look at, say, the Texas game, the 3 biggest runs that Duke went on in terms of lineups, all 3 had Dame on the floor. And then when you're looking at like the Kansas game, looking for like the same thing, obviously he wasn't on the floor for the last, 6 minutes because it was just really working. And so John left him out there. But like all of that first half stuff when Duke was storming back, that was with Dame on the floor, right? I kind of think, without actually looking at it, I wonder how many of those 10-0 runs that Duke has gone on that were non-garbage time, which we've gone on a lot this year, I think more than any other team in the country, opponents, but whatever. I still think that I think Dame, I'd have to guess, is on the floor for a lot of them. I just kind of think he really breaks open a game with his steals, with his energy, with those corner threes, the enthusiasm. He locks down the best player on the other team. Like, even if he is giving up stuff on defense, or on offense, I don't really care, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm getting spammed on Twitter with soft schedule from a Purdue fan. I think they're mad that Duke is number 1 in KenPom now again. Very
Duke
weird.
has played so far a notably softer schedule than Purdue. That is true. That will not
for sure, but like
that will change in the next couple of weeks, in which they only have, like limited, opponents of high caliber, and Duke will have several. Purdue will also have a better schedule this year because the Big Ten is better than the ACC. So they're just going to have a better schedule probably. But like,
don't care.
Yeah, don't care.
Don't care. Wait, hold on. Let me wrap that up. Shout out to Derek.
Yeah.
Shout out to Derek.
Yeah,
that
shout
concludes.
out Derek. That concludes.
www.speakpipe.com/crazycast. We're not doing promo. We just need it for a voicemail. You know,
if you want to
send in your
speak into the pipe. Let's talk real quick, Arkansas, because then I got to bounce. I realize I'm running behind. No, my Arkansas take is very easy. I have not been terribly impressed with their defense at all. I know they kind of have some, they're figuring out some lineup stuff. We'll put it that way, right? Like this is very much a John Calipari kind of deal. But like they gave up over a point per possession to Samford at home. They gave way over a point per possession to Winthrop at home. They only beat Samford by 4. They beat Winthrop by 1. Now they played well at Michigan State. You got to tip your cap on that. Even Southern, right? Like they gave up just under 1 point per possession. I mean, like Arkansas should not be giving up almost a point per possession to a SWAC team. Like with all respect to the SWAC, the talent disparity is ridiculous, right? Like, so that just shouldn't be happening.
I think you're dancing around what you really want to say, Russ.
I think the defense for Arkansas is not very good, and I think Duke is a lot more talented than Southern or Samford or Winthrop, and we are playing in Chicago on a neutral court where Duke generally plays quite well. Look, if their guards go off, is anything possible? Sure, they got some tremendous talent on this team. I think that goes without saying. So maybe this is a classic case of, Arkansas is not showing up for the games that they think they're better than, but then they're going to really show up for Duke. That's certainly possible. Anything is possible in that respect. Calipari's shown that before.
Duke, though.
Less against Duke than normal. I kind of think that they're gonna have to defend a lot better if they want to beat Duke. They're gonna have to defend a lot better. Not impossible, but they haven't shown it much. So they're gonna have to do that to beat Duke. And they have not beaten the best team they have beaten is Winthrop, and they beat them by 1 at home. So they're I'm not terribly impressed at present. I'm impressed with their individual players, with their talent. I'm not impressed with the results as they are. So like I expect Duke to win. Duke will be favored by like 10 or whatever. Might be a double-digit favorite again. That was crazy that Duke was double-digit favorite to Kansas. I know that Duke covered, but like Kansas is never double-digit dog anywhere. I don't care that you don't have Darren Peterson. Like you're Kansas. Like you're Bill Self. Like sorry, there's no reason for that. That's crazy. And then Duke covered anyway. So like that was a fantastic performance by Duke. I don't care about the Peterson thing. I don't care about some of the stuff in the first half. Whatever. You beat a team like Kansas, and people say that like Kansas like sucks or whatever. But Kansas still has like 5-star talent all over that team and whatever else, right? And Duke still gave them the business. I expect Duke to give Arkansas a similar degree of the business. I like Duke in that matchup. That's not one that I'm especially worried about. I mean, I'm worried in the sense you could lose any game. Ken Palm has Duke as an 82% likelihood of winning the game. Like that's a lot. That's more than the next 2 games. So again, as long as we're not looking ahead, as long as we're not sluggish off that turkey, I think Duke should be able to deliver in a game like this. If Duke wants to be a real title contender, this is a game in which you go to a neutral court and you beat a talented, worse team than you. I think.
And let me translate that for y'all. Real quick with another one. Russ said Arkansas stinks. That's what he's trying to tell you. He's telling you that Arkansas stinks.
I'm getting wafts of like 8 seed. You know, I'm getting like 8 seed wafting 8 seed. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we've lost to worse teams in the past, right? So again, I'm not saying it's 100% chance. Anything's possible, but like if I'm wafting an 8 seed over here, and they're young too, they're inexperienced. Their best players are inexperienced. United Center, Shire's hometown, baby. I don't know. I love everything about the spot. I love the spot. I love the spot. And the next 2 games are going to be harder for Duke. So I like the spot here.
Oh man, yeah. You listen. If we lose, everyone come back to this clip and roast. Don't include me in this.
I said it over and over again. We've lost to worse teams. We've lost to worse teams. We will lose in ACC. I'm going to say this too. We're going to lose in ACC play to a team worse than Arkansas. We will. I think that happens to every team at least once. It happens, right?
Yeah.
I just like this matchup. I do. I like it. Unless the guards really are going the hell off for Arkansas, which could happen, or if we have some weird foul trouble thing. I like Duke's chances a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna say, just because I haven't watched enough of Arkansas to say, they're going to be trash. I mean, they do have Ewan.
Malik Thomas is great. Acuff is
no.
great.
I said Malik.
You're talking about
I said FSU. I was saying a guy that's familiar with playing against Duke, although he did get throttled last year against Duke. Or he might even not played that game.
He's not even starting. He's not really starting.
Which he's not starting, and that's a really good player. So that's not.
They got Trayvon. Didn't Trayvon Brazil go off against Duke a couple years back?
Yeah, he did.
Was
it against the Apollo team?
No, it was 2 years. It was a flip team, I think.
Flip team.
Yeah, a game we should have won, but like Brazil went off. So, dude, they've got talent. But again, like we're gonna face in the NCAA tournament teams that are tremendously talented, and we're gonna have to beat them. And this is the sort of game where we should be able to beat a team like this that struggled with Sanford and Winthrop at home. Like we've got to be able to beat a team like this.
No, we should be able to.
We're allowed a bad loss or two this year, but like I would prefer it not happen now. I would prefer to not go into the Florida Michigan State game losing to Arkansas. I'd prefer to win the Arkansas game.
Yeah,
and then
I mean, I'm confident in this game. I'm not gonna act like I'm not confident in this game. I don't think this is the game that I'm saying like, yo, I'm sweating for. Obviously, it's a really talented team, like you said. Obviously, the Arkansas fans are already in my comments. Malik Thomas, Darius Acuff, high level guards. Good test for.
They're very high level guards. They have higher. Their guards have better draft stock than like our guards probably.
Oh yeah, that's not even a question.
Yeah,
and then they still have guys like Wagner, who's a vet. Knox is somewhat of a vet now. Carter Knox. I feel like I'm missing one. Who's their roster? I gotta look at their roster.
They're all out there. But anyway, did you want to talk about any of the other ones? Otherwise, I got to run.
No. I'll wrap up. But yeah, I think.
Yeah, we're not going to record Thanksgiving. There's no way. Dude, my whole family will be over. There's no chance. There's no. I'll get fried if I try to sneak away. I'll get fried.
I don't know. I can't fully say no yet because it is Thanksgiving night. I'm pretty sure. What time is the game?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Let's see.
4 my time, 7 your time, maybe.
Oh, 7. Yeah, it's going to end at 10. Everyone's already finished with Thanksgiving at 10, bro.
Bro, they're all drunk. They're all drunken in bed. They're drunken in bed. There's no chance.
Well, what if we lose?
The Florida game will be interesting on Tuesday. The Michigan State at Michigan State. We'll talk about that after the Florida game. But
Monty said he'll sub in for you.
Yeah, there you go. You've got it. I got to take off, guys. Appreciate everybody. Go Duke. We're gonna be in an awesome MTE next year. I know it.
Oh Lord! All right. Quick off. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Lost my audio for a second. For tuning in. We'll be back maybe after Arkansas. We'll see. But tap in with us, subscribe, follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel for sure. Put a like on this. Put a like on this video on YouTube. Comments, do all that stuff.